What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Creativ Rise podcast. So glad you're here with us today. And the first thing you might be thinking is that no, you did not get clickbaited by all this big $414,000 in 6 weeks. This is not clickbait. This is actually fully true. We want to give you the real-time example of creatives crushing in their businesses. And the way that we do that at Creativ Rise is through a 6-week program called the Creativ Rise Mastermind. We just finished our 9th round of the Creativ Rise Mastermind.
So epic. And
they broke the entire record of how much money a Creativ Rise Mastermind round has made during the 6 weeks. They made $414,000 in projects in 6 weeks.
Yeah, this isn't projected what I'm going to make for the rest of the year. This is like, no, signed deals, cash collected,
delivered. Like, let's go.
And we would add it all up. So in 6 weeks, 37 businesses made $414,000, which shattered the record that we've had so far, which is epic. Like, we love to see the record grow and grow and grow and grow, which is so cool. So we're so proud of these people. We're proud of every group. This group shattered the record, though, which is pretty cool.
They did.
We want to talk about what potentially, from our perspective, probably led to them breaking the revenue record for a Creativ Rise Mastermind group of businesses. Like I said, it's a certain amount of people in 6 weeks. How much money can they make? And now, reminder, these people aren't people who already have 6-figure businesses.
No.
This is the stab that we take as a team at Creativ Rise, you and I and the rest of the team behind us. This is our best effort at creating the best environment in the world to help creative business owners make their first 6 figures. Like, that is what the Creativ Rise Mastermind is for. That's why we exist as a company. We really, really want to help. And as a community, we really want to help people do that. We believe that people deserve to break the creative struggle. So we're trying our best to do that. This mastermind is full of businesses that are, some of them are brand new. Some of them are like making 40, 50 grand. Some of them are making like 60, 70. But this is not people that are already cranking out massive 6-figure numbers. So let that sink in too. If you're already hearing this, you're like, oh, that's because they're all like big business owners. It's like, no, they're all working their way there. And a lot of them are going to crank out 6-figure businesses this year because they went through the mastermind, but none of them were before that. So that's important to state because that makes the $414,000 number even crazier. So here's why we're doing this podcast. We want to show you what they focused on really, really well over the last 6 weeks that has led to them not only breaking the record, but them also all cranking in their businesses. We've got so many of them that are like, I've made more money in the last 6 weeks than I made through half of last year. I've made more money this month than I ever thought I would ever make. Like, people breaking $10,000 months and people breaking $20,000 months. We even had someone break a $30,000 month in this last round of the mastermind. Like, epic. So cool. So we want to talk about positioning. This round did positioning so well. And if you do positioning super well, you will also be able to crank out in 2023. You'll be able to grow your business in 2023. Hopefully have the best revenue year you've ever had. So there's 4 different types of positioning. If you're wondering what positioning is, simple definition for you. Positioning is defining what makes your business unique, communicating that value to your target audience, and then in doing that in a way that's resonating with them. So we broke that little sentence down into 4 different categories here. So it's positioning your value. It's positioning to your customer. So it's like your customer identity. It's positioning your pricing. And last but not least, it's positioning your messaging, positioning your brand, right? So we're going to break down all 4 of these one by one. But those are the 4 things that this past round of the mastermind did really well. We were like super tight on them about these 4 things. Like, guys, let's get these 4 things dialed. Let's get these things dialed. And they've dialed them to the best of their abilities. And the best part about positioning is it's something you're constantly dialing in, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you dialed in your pricing strategy once. It's like, no, as you grow, you need to redial it. As your brand grows, you need to redial it, right? As your customer grows and your customer shifts or your offer shifts or the value you're doing shifts, you got to redial it in. So I hope that you listening to this episode are going to be able to take that with you, and you can dial in your positioning in these 4 categories this year as well, and it's going to help you have a better year. So first, to kick it off, number 1 is positioning your value. Okay, so positioning your value is, by Creativ Rise definition, defining and increasing the value that your service brings to a client. So if you want to have a better year in 2023, you need to figure out how to define your value. Make sure your value is super clear. Hey, what am I doing and how is it of value to somebody? And then if you can then find ways to double that value, triple that value, increase that value, you're going to be able to increase what you charge for that, increase what people pay you, and your business is going to grow, right?
Yeah.
Super cool. So here's an example of that. If you are shooting short form videos for brands, one of my favorite ways to increase the value that you have for a company, if you are a content creator for a brand, is don't just shoot social content. Like, don't just pitch them on, hey, I want to help you with their social content. That's a really, really big need. And don't hear me and think that you can't pitch social content. 100% pitch social content. But don't just pitch that. A great way to increase the value on that is go, hey, I would love to have a meeting and sit down and chat with you about your paid advertising, because I know organic social content you put up on your feed doesn't always perfectly align with the ad copy or the ad targeting or whatever platform you're putting the ad on. So I want to create some content for you that's not just for your social feed, but I also want to create a couple pieces that are so specific to your advertising objectives and your aspirations for your advertising. So let's sit down and talk about that. If you have a marketing manager or marketing director in that conversation, they will be so excited.
They're like, oh my gosh.
Because a marketing manager or a brand manager's whole job is practically sourcing the content to be able to, get out into the world organically and with their paid advertising in order to increase whatever their objective is, probably sales. Now, again, organic content that goes on your feed does not always translate into paid ad content super well. So knowing that and going into a conversation with a brand manager and saying, hey, I also want to cover this, but I really, really want to talk to you about your paid ad stuff. I know I've been helping you with social, but I want to increase my value with you guys by helping you create dialed in paid advertising content. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
That is a great way to increase the positioning of your value, right? You're looking at your value and you're defining it, and then you're increasing it for the client you're working with, and that's a great way to make more money.
Yeah, and another way to increase your income this next year is by positioning to the right customer. Now, you might have a lot of people who would benefit from your services, but the question these creatives ask that we want you to ask is, who should I actually be selling to? For example, too many people get lost in pitching their services to people who just can't afford them or don't pay the right prices.
Yeah, that's
whatever
probably the biggest
it is.
one, right? They pitch to people that don't have money.
Totally. They pitch to
It's
people.
I'm not getting hired, or people aren't paying me enough. It's like, well, you're pitching blank.
You're pitching to someone who has a $500 budget. That's just the
course.
truth of it, right? So what we did in the Creativ Rise Mastermind that we always try to encourage people to is pitch to the right customer. Find the people that can actually pay the prices you want them to pay. So instead of maybe pitching a tiny coffee shop that sells $2 lattes
like
a
$5,
couple
$6
times,
latte, but still.
depending on the state, right? Depending on the state. California,
if you can find me a $2 latte, that's
maybe.
pretty good.
But instead of pitching to those type of people, go, hey, can I go pitch to a law firm instead? Somebody who's going to be having high ticket services that if you do the right content for them, if you're running their website, social, whatever it is, your contribution is going to give them a huge ROI.
Yeah, a bigger return.
They will absolutely be able to see the justification of high prices. Whereas someone selling something low ticket at not a high quantity might go, ooh, this feels like a big stretch. So positioning your brand and positioning your pitching to be talking to the right people is so important. That's what this group did.
And if you're confused, we see this all the time. A lot of people are going, well, I don't know how to really define who I'm selling it to. Like Joey and Christy, how do I find those people? Well, if you're a little bit confused on how you find those people, you're probably confused on number one, which was, again, positioning your value properly. If you're not super clear, if you've not yet defined your value and you have no idea how to increase your value, you're probably also confused about who you're selling it to. Mm-hmm. So if you can figure out number one, number two becomes a lot more clear, right? And we always try and help people discover that in the mastermind because it helps a ton. So number three, positioning your pricing. Okay, this is huge. This is huge. Almost every single person that ever comes through the Creativ Rise Mastermind goes through a price haul with us. We're like, hey, we gotta up these prices. No, it doesn't just
pricing intervention.
It doesn't just mean that we sit you down and go double your prices. We've done that with some people and nothing's changed. A lot of it is, hey, you want to make more money, so let's increase your prices, but you also have to increase your value. We've also got to position your value in a way that is justifiable with that price increase, right? So there's a lot of strategy behind this, and if you can learn how to do this, you are going to make more money, and you are going to get yeses from the right clients, and you'll get no's from the right clients, which is cool. No's from the wrong clients. So positioning your pricing is defining your pricing strategy to get you paid for your value, not just for your time. So one of the biggest issues, as I just said, is when people come into the mastermind, their pricing often reflects more of an hourly rate type thing. And it reflects how much time they'd be putting into something. Now, this might sound like a podcast that's maybe more geared towards commercial people or brand people, but this point is so relevant for wedding photographers, wedding filmmakers, wedding professionals. So many wedding people, all their packages are contingent on the amount of time they're there. Mm-hmm. This is a quick little intervention. If all your wedding packages are the only difference is basically like 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, or however you split that down. And that's what your price differences are. That's not a great way to separate your packages because you're pricing yourself as a commodity. You're pricing yourself based off a finite resource, which is your time, rather than pricing yourself based off of the value you will be delivering. So you obviously have to have your time in all your packages 100%. We are not saying that you need to just be at a wedding for 1,000 hours unlimited or whatever. But if you're constantly selling the amount of time you're at an event, don't be surprised when you're getting price checked, or don't be surprised when you're getting hassled for it, because you're selling a commodity rather than selling like, hey, here's how I'm going to make you feel. Here's the deliverables I'm going to make sure I really come through on. Here's how I'm going to be doing this differently than most people you're probably talking to. And here's how that's going to make you look back in 15 years and make you so glad that you chose to hire me. So how's that sound? Let's do it. Like that's a completely different conversation than just being like, oh yeah, this is my 12-hour package or my 10-hour one. Let me know which one you want, right? So you've got to figure out, you got to make sure that you figure out when you're pricing, you're working on your pricing positioning. How do I price my stuff and communicate it in a way that's not just about the time, but it's also about the value? Because if you can learn how to do that, you often can charge more for it. And it's also just strategically a much easier way to sell when you understand that stuff, right? So
Totally.
they did that really well.
Yeah. And then the last thing is that these people positioned their brand so well. They positioned their messaging online, whether it's their website, whether it's the reels they're posting, whether it's on TikTok, whatever the direct kind of like marketing messaging was, they positioned it really, really well. Now, what does that mean? Most creatives rely on just, oh, this is my portfolio. Like, this is my work. They just put their work out into the world and go, hopefully that's just going to turn clients on to me and they're going to want to hire me for my work. Now, portfolio is amazing. It does a lot for you.
100%.
However, you're missing out on a huge piece of the pie when it comes to messaging. Now, messaging becomes so important when you start focusing on what the client needs. When you're messaging in your direct marketing and on your website, on your social copy, on email marketing, whatever you're using, includes that you understand the problems they're up against, that you understand where they want to be with their business in X years, or where they want to be with their wedding, or where they want to be with whatever their dream outcome is.
What they want to feel when they open that wedding album.
Exactly. When you can understand the problem and you understand where they want to be and then what they need and how your service delivers that transformation, that is when your messaging and that is when your brand starts working for you. You start communicating that messaging at the beginning, you're going to see that pay off so much by the time you're on a sales call, that your sales calls will go so much easier and so much faster and so much more positively because people understand that you understand their problem and what they truly want.
You'll just get more people on sales calls too.
Absolutely.
Because people are like, oh my gosh, this person actually understands what I'm talking about.
They get it.
They know what my desires are.
Yeah.
I should probably hop on the phone with them, right? Rather than just like, oh yeah, their photos are cool. Should we consider them? Like it's like, no, this person understands it. Like she's talking. It's like she's talking to me through her Instagram captions. Oh my gosh, we need to hire her for our wedding, right? So that is where your brand positioning comes in mega. So guys, that is the 4 things. I'm just going to repeat them real quick. So it's positioning your value, number 1, positioning who you are selling to. So positioning it to your customers, number 2, positioning number 3 is positioning it in a way where it's got some strategy behind your pricing. So positioning your pricing, and last but not least, positioning your brand. If you can do those 4 things in 2023 well, the way that everyone in the last 6-week Creativ Rise Mastermind that we just ended did, you're going to crank as well. You're going to have a great year. So we would love to encourage you into that. We are loving to cheer you on. The fact that you're listening to this episode and you've even made it this far means that you are looking to make 2023 a great year. So we are cheering for you. And we want you to know that. So even a better way to cheer for you, if you're like, oh my gosh, this mastermind sounds incredible. How was I not in this thing? Well, that's a great question. We'd love to ask you that too. We'd love for you to be in the next one. The next one is going to be running this fall. We cannot wait for it. Now, here's the thing. We told you 37 businesses were in this one. We're only going to take 35, maybe to 37 businesses again for the next one. It's sold out 9 times now. So if you're not on the wait list, odds are, first of all, you're not going to get the discount nor the bonus, but you might not get in because we get so many applications. We got almost 90 applications this past round for 37 spots. So you really got to make sure you're on the wait list because we give waitlisters access to the application first, plus the bonuses. So you get a couple bonus courses, plus the $100 discount. So I would love for that to be you. Where do they got to go?
If you want to join the waitlist, all you got to do to make it super simple is go to creativrise.com. Creative does not have an E at the end of it. Or you can just search us on Instagram at Creativ Rise. You can click the link in the bio. You'll be taken straight to the waitlist. You'll jump on the waitlist, and then we're not going to spam you, and we're not going to send you a million emails a day. We're going to send you a few quick emails to give you some more information. And then, get ready for fall 2023. If you've got any questions about whether or not this is right for you, all you have to do is DM Creativ Rise, or you can DM Joey or I, and we'd be happy to answer those questions and give you as much information as you need.
And here's the question.
Will
round 10 break the revenue record?
Oh, that is
Who knows?
the question. It's a tough record to beat.
That's a huge record. I know it is going to be crazy to see if it happens. But
I think they might be able to do it.
We're going to be trying our best to make sure that round breaks the record as much as they can, or makes as much money as humanly possible in the 6 weeks and in the next 2 years, because that's our goal. To, again, create a world where more creative business owners succeed while doing what they love. We'd love for you to be a part of that, whether it's just through the podcast, whether you're jumping into the mastermind, whether it's through you using the free pricing calculator that we've got for you, link in the description to get access to that, or any of the other resources that we have on our shop on creativrise.com. Again, link in the description. Anything we can do to help you, we're in, because we're all about just seeing creatives win. So that's it from us today. We're so pumped. If you were in round 9, you're listening to this, huge congratulations. We miss you and love you. Can't believe it's already been like a week and it's over. So sad. But so good to see you guys all online, and keep cheering you guys on. Other than that, guys, we'll see you on next week's episode. So hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, share it with a friend that will also benefit from it. We'd love for you to do that so they can get some help, and we'll catch you on the next one, right?
Yep.
Let's do it. See you guys.
Thanks, guys.